This is a review for the Rheem Classic Plus Series two-stage air conditioners, model number RA17 series. Stay tuned, and we're going to go through most of the things from the cut sheet to let you know all the technical issues or details about this equipment, and they range in sizes from 2 to 5 tons. Stay tuned, and let's go. Okay, let's get right into it. We're going to start off with the Rheem Classic Plus Series, the RA17 model, and we're going to hit the cut sheet and give you all the information, the important information that you need to know as a buyer buying this particular air conditioner. It's considered medium efficiency. It's not Rheem's highest, and it's not their lowest. It's a staging system with a two-stage scroll compression. And let's get into the okay. The cut sheet gives us a description of all the basic components and some of the benefits that Rheem has put into their equipment. So let's go over that. Start off with the EcoNet enabled product. I'm not a big fan of proprietary thermostats simply because if something goes wrong with it, you have to deal with the dealer versus if something goes wrong with your Honeywell or Nest or Ecobee, you can deal with the store where you bought it from or the manufacturer. There's no reason why this particular thermostat isn't a reliable thermostat, and I do encourage everyone to upgrade to Wi-Fi thermostat simply because the Wi-Fi thermostats offer you a lot more than the older type thermostats that just hang on the wall and they don't have Wi-Fi or internet connectivity. This thermostat is a Wi-Fi thermostat, and the big thing with Wi-Fi thermostats is they offer you remote access and control. So no matter where you are in the world, if you have an internet connection, you can monitor your system. A lot of these thermostats are set up to alert you if something goes wrong, if the temperature is too high or too low, so you don't have to worry about frozen pipes or everything melting in your house if it gets too hot. So this is an option for you to choose. Again, it's an option for you. Look at the system, and if you like it, for it. But there are good thermostats that you can get off the shelf at your big box hardware stores that will do the same thing. And you don't have to worry about a proprietary thermostat where you have to deal with Rheem all the time. Okay, next up, powder coat paint system. Basically, this offers durability for your system since it is outside. The powder coating is a special way to paint metal, and it bonds the paint with the metal so that you have a longer lasting system that won't rust or corrode. So this is a good thing, and most manufacturers do this. So this is nothing special out of Rheem, but it is a good thing, a good bonus for you. All right, we're going to go to the two-stage Copeland Scroll Ultratech compressor. This is a good compressor. It'll stage based on demand. So if the demand is not so high, then it'll run at 67% of capacity. And if the demand is high, it'll run at 100% of capacity. So you really can't go wrong with this compressor, Copeland Scroll. Copeland is owned by Emerson, and they do a real good job with quality, and you just can't go wrong with a Copeland Scroll compressor. This is a two-stage type, and for fewer moving parts, which is even better since it is a mechanical device, a mechanical and an electrical device. It's basically a compressor that's driven by an electric motor. It's hermetically sealed. Everything is hermetically sealed in the case. So, but again, there's good quality from Emerson or with their Copeland products, so you can't go wrong with this type of compressor. They're very reliable. From my experience in the field, I have replaced some before, but normally it's because of something else. Never from the factory bad or something that's a factory defect. These are good compressors, so you should experience very good longevity with these compressors to help you get through the heat, and if you're buying the heat pump, it'll get you through the winter. So this is a good deal for you. No big deals, no problems with this. Next up, they have an optimized fan orifice. It optimizes airflow, and reduces sound. Now, a big deal about condensers is they're outside and they kick on and kick off based on whatever the thermostat is calling for. So if you're outside with your family on the patio or the deck and you have a condenser next to the patio or deck, the last thing you want to do is, when you're trying to relax and enjoy life with your family, or even if you're talking to somebody on the phone, the last thing you want is a condenser to kick on, making a bunch of noise, and that's important. And from my experience with Rheem products, they are pretty quiet, so you don't have to hear that annoying noise from the air conditioner condenser when you're outside enjoying and relaxing and doing other things with your family. So make this, a part of the process in selecting a system. Check with the decibel levels. They have ratings on for decibel levels on their air conditioners, and the dealer can provide you with that information. Next up, we're going to go to the rust resistance, and this goes in with the powder coating of the system for durability. Since the system is outside, if you live near the coast, or even if you don't live near the coast, having something that will protect your system from rust and corrosion is good. A lot of government specifications, when they order products, they must pass this test for salt spray. So this is good for you, for the consumer, and it adds to your increased longevity of the system, so you don't have to worry about 10 years from now, 15 years from now, going out and seeing rust everywhere. So take that into account when you're looking at this system. Next up is access. The service access for servicing, like maintenance and repair, is very important. You may not think so, but it does make a difference for the technician, and that can save you money in the long run, simply because a lot of service companies charge an hourly rate, and the faster that the technician can do his job and make a repair, the better off. So Rheem is designing these systems with that in mind, and it's beneficial to you to have a system like this, so you don't have to worry about you can have a system that can be repaired easily versus a system that you have to tear completely apart to change one component. Ask anybody who's worked on some of the newer, very small cars. Ask your mechanic about that. And I've seen some crazy stuff where they had to disassemble half of the engine so they could change spark plugs. That's not good. And in this case, Rheem Engineering, they're making their products so they can be serviced and maintained easier for the technicians that come out and do your service. Next up, the single row condenser coil. This again goes in with the last point I made, was maintenance and access. So these coils can be cleaned out a lot easier. You have a problem like in the summertime, the condenser's running, somebody mows the grass, has got a weed eater running around the condenser, fans on, it's sucking things right up into those coils. So you get grass and dust and dirt and debris in the coils. And this makes it easier to wash those coils out with the water hose. And that makes a big difference in efficiency. The cleaner you keep those coils, the more efficiency you're gonna realize, because the debris and grass or whatever gets stuck in there inhibits airflow, and that inhibits heat exchange. And that's exactly what that condenser is. It's a heat exchanger. It's moving the heat out of the refrigerant into the air outside. And the more you block those coils up, the worse it's going to be. So this is a good deal here. One of the highlights of Rheem is making it easy to clean the coils. Fan motor harness with extra long wires. This goes in hand with everything else we've talked about in the last few points. You can remove the top of the condenser and work on the system. So if you need to access inside where the compressor is or a few other components, then you can take the top off and lay it on its side without having to disconnect a whole bunch of other stuff. This is, again, goes with service and maintenance. So everything is accessible and easy to work with. High and low pressure refrigeration switches is standard on all Rheem models. So this is another protection device for you, and not every manufacturer does this. High pressure and low pressure switches are very important. They can save you a lot of money and a lot of headaches if something goes wrong. The low pressure side is when you say you have a refrigerant leak, or say even your blower motor goes bad, or somehow a dirty air filter, you're going to experience low pressures, and the low pressure switch will shut the system down so you don't have problems with the compressor. The compressor relies on the refrigerant to cool it down, and when you have low charge or low pressures, your compressor can overheat somewhat. So the low pressure switch will save you, especially if you have a catastrophic refrigerant leak. The high pressure switch, on the other hand, goes back to what I was talking about on condenser coils. If your condenser gets plugged up with dirt and debris, the pressures are going to be much higher, and it'll kick the system off. It'll shut the condenser down so that it won't affect the compressor. It won't hurt the compressor. Very high pressures that you can experience from dirty condenser coils. Also, if your condenser fan motor goes bad, you're going to see high head pressure, and that pressure switch will likely kick the unit off, which is what you want, and that'll result in your house getting warmer, because without the condenser you're not going to have any cooling. So you'll have to call for service, and they come out and they figure out what the problem is. And again, sometimes when I've seen this, it's because real dirty condenser coils, a bunch of grass, dirt in the coils, and sometimes it's the condenser fan motor that is bad, or a capacitor that's bad. So you want these switches in there, and again, not every manufacturer does this, so this is a plus for Rheem.